Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. If I was an announcer, this next master I would probably announce just like this. This master is the most popular master of all the masters. Hands down, a master who needs no introduction. Jesus H. Christ. I'm kidding. No, the Master Jesus is probably, as you would probably agree, is the most popular of all the masters. Now, there's going to be a lot of confusion when people see him because he's not what people think Jesus to be, just like Maitreya, being the Christ, But I think of all the masters, I always say this, so maybe I am a betting man, but if I was a betting man, I would lay down a bet that the Master Jesus is going to probably get as many interviews or more than Maitreya himself, right? I'm whispering because I don't want Maitreya to hear me. These masters get really offended when you start talking about other masters, right? I'm, of course, kidding, very much kidding. These masters don't have any personal ego like that. But the Master Jesus naturally is going to be a very popular master. He's got a great personality. He's a handsome guy, as you would know, right? Nice beard, long hair. But so many people will identify with him, once they start to trust who Maitreya is and after the day of declaration and, start to wonder exactly what's going on, right? Well, Maitreya is going to introduce the Master Jesus probably he'll probably be the first master that he introduces, I would guess, I don't know. Probably pretty soon after that, though. And who better to help dispel a lot of the misinformation about who he himself is than the Master Jesus himself, right? Because when you see the Master Jesus, of course, you can ask him all sorts of questions that you've been wanting to ask Jesus ever since you heard about Jesus and read the Bible, right? Is it true that Jesus loves me? Of course, he loves you, right? Might not like everything you do, but, he's like all these masters, he knows nothing but love, right? But you could ask him questions about the Bible, or what do you mean when you said this in the Bible? He might say, oh, I never said that, or, I did say that, and this is what I meant, or you need to try to figure that out first before I tell you. I don't know. I don't know exactly how his approach is going to be, but one of his jobs is to help to dispel the misinformation and the illusions and glamours that people have in and around the church. There's a lot of distortions from the teachings of the church, and he's going to help clean up a lot of that and bring back to kind of circle back to the truths that he was talking about 2,000 years ago. But this particular master, he's had several lifetimes actually where he came before the public eye, not only as Jesus, but where is it? I'm trying to make sure I read it. He was Joshua, son of Nun, in the time of Moses, and then he appeared in the time of Ezra as Jeshua, and the book of Zechariah as Joshua. Again, a lot of J's, right? Now I know the ancient Hebrew did not have a hard J sound, right? It's a soft J. It kind of reminds me of the scene in the movie. Not the Legend of Ron Burgundy with Will Ferrell, when he was talking about jogging, and he said that maybe it's a soft J, maybe it's jogging, but be that as it may, most people are aware of Jesus as Jesus. So, is it Yeshua, Jesus, whatever you want to say, it doesn't really matter. Now, Jesus was not his last incarnation. Now, he of course, there was a lot of ancient symbolisms in the Bible, and he did die on the cross. Now, according to esotericism, once he died on the cross, Jesus kind of left the scene. And then Maitreya came in and entered his body fully. And that's where the image of the Shroud of Turin was imprinted on that cloth when Maitreya entered his body. It created a like a photographic negative on the cloth. And then Maitreya was the one that was in Jesus's body talking to the people for the time that he was after the crucifixion. And Easter's just passed. I'm recording this video on the Monday after Easter in 2019. And Easter will eventually be a holiday that will be more celebrated than Christmas even in the future, according to the masters. So do you think that by Maitreya and these masters coming out that Christianity is going to die out? Of course not. But a lot of the distortions of Christianity will die out naturally, of course, like reincarnation, right? When you see these masters and you're like, oh, well, that was the master who was Peter, or that was the master who was John, or that was the master who was, Jesus, or whatever. It will help to, reinforce the truth in people's minds that there is reincarnation, right? But it will also, I think, B, it will also help to alleviate the fear of death, because we'll know that life is really eternal for all of us. Now, maybe not this particular body that we're going to be in is going to live forever, but who you are as a soul will live on ad infinitum forever. And these masters will help to demonstrate that. So there's a lot of dispelling of the fear that these masters are going to have to deal with when they come out. Now, after Jesus left that incarnation, he incarnated again as Apollonius of Tyana, or Apollonius of Tyana, however you want to pronounce it, who was a Greek philosopher. There's a lot of historical folklore that Jesus was Apollonius of Tyana, which he was in a different incarnation, but some people think that he escaped or lived through the crucifixion some kind of way and snuck away and became Apollonius of Tyana. But that's not necessarily true. He was born, just in the normal way and lived out his life as Apollonius of Tyana and then became a master fully. And according to Benjamin Creme's master, he also came and taught the Indians, the Native Americans here in the States, before they were the States, which I'm not that familiar with the Church of Latter-day Saints, but a lot of what they believe is that Jesus came and spoke to the Native Americans. Well, according to the masters, actually, that did happen. Now, again, this master is going to have the job of, running the churches, but also cleaning up the distortions of the churches. Whether people will believe he is Jesus or not right away is obviously up to the person, right, or the group of people or whatever. I'm sure not every Christian fundamentalist is going to buy the fact that that's Jesus. They'll probably call him all sorts of things, right? Well, Jesus is kind of used to it, because back 2,000 years ago, the Jewish, Sanhedrin and a lot of the Jewish establishment, thought he was a demon, or thought he was this, or thought he was that, right? Not recognizing him as the Messiah. So the view of this master by a lot of fundamentalists, I'm sure it'll be lost on him, because he's not fitting the mold of what they believe. But a lot of the Christian moderates and more agnostic people, and maybe even some fundamentalists, will start to see him for who he is, because the thing that I've noticed about Jesus, the times that I've seen him, or the experiences that I've had, is he has the same love that Maitreya has. I mean, it really, in a very real sense, the love of this master for humanity is second to none. That's why he did what he did, and that's why he's here, and that's what he's doing right now. And this particular master, that Master Jesus, has been known ever since I've been reading Sharon National magazine, has been known to save people from a lot of accidents, car accidents, physical things that happened to him. I know there was a time when I was driving down the interstate and almost hit a car, and my car started spinning, and I spun around and around like a top. And then I was facing away from Atlanta traffic, which there was a lot of traffic. That was at night. Traffic wasn't as bad as it would have been during the day, but there were still a lot of cars on the road. And all of a sudden, my car just got pushed out of the way. and I didn't do anything. It just boom. And according to Benjamin Creme's own master, he said that the Master Jesus saved my life. So I'm in the group of people who the Master Jesus has saved their life, and he might have saved your life, from time to time. But this master has been as active as Maitreya in terms of meeting people as a familiar, like Maitreya did for me several times. The Master Jesus does for not only for me, but for other people as well. And, but when you see this master, like I said, you can ask him all sorts of questions. You can ask him any kind of religious questions you want to ask to get the answer and see if you buy it or not. I personally can't wait to hear what he has to say about some things, because I think he'll shed a lot of light on a lot of the confusion that people have about who and what Jesus really is, And again, like I said, this master's been very active. And the other thing too, I mentioned this in a previous video, is he actually worked through the Prophet Muhammad and wrote the Quran. And I'm sure that in the future, when he comes out, he's going to claim that, yes, he was the one that wrote the Quran through the Prophet Muhammad. And it will help to hopefully bridge the prejudices on both sides of Christianity and of Islam, the Muslims, and will help to see that we're actually all on the same side, which is humanity. And to quote Maitreya in one of the experiences, keep your eyes on the prize, and the prize is humanity. And as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.